The South China Sea glows beneath a fiery dawn. Its surface is calm, gilded and light. Yet beneath that beauty lies unease. Out on the horizon, a shape cuts through the haze. Long, sharp, unmistakably regal. The HMS Queen Elizabeth, crown jewel of the Royal Navy, advances with silent confidence. Her flight deck hums with discipline, her crew moving in perfect rhythm. Deep within her steel corridors beats the steady pulse of Britain's return to the Indo-Pacific arena. For decades, these waters have been the world's most contested crossroads, where borders blur, trade converges, and ambition collides. China's expanding maritime reach has redrawn the map, but now, an old seafaring power has re-entered the board. The deployment of Queen Elizabeth isn't mere posturing. It's a message that Britain's flag still commands weight upon the waves. Above, the thunder of F-35B stealth fighters splits the humid air. Their engines flare like molten streaks against the morning sky. An alliance in motion. These jets, born from Anglo-American ingenuity, embody the union of two doctrines: precision and partnership. On deck, British and US crews operate side by side, every motion rehearsed, every command clear. Each launch speaks without words. Deterrence through cooperation, strength through unity. Far to the north, Chinese satellites turn their gaze. Every takeoff, every maneuver, every formation is logged and analyzed. To Beijing, this is not a courtesy call, it's an encroachment. To the west, it is reassurance. Queen Elizabeth has become both signal and sentinel, a visible pledge that stability in the Pacific cannot rest on one nation alone. Inside her combat information center, light spills from countless screens. Radar arcs, sonar trails, encrypted feeds threading through the digital ether. Officers stand focused over real-time maps of the South China Sea. Their displays alive with Allied icons, American destroyers, Australian frigates, Japanese patrols, each unit moving in perfect sync toward a single point of convergence. Coordination, not coincidence, drives every course plotted. To the sailors aboard, this is more than another deployment. It is a return to legacy. After decades away, the Royal Navy once again projects a reach across half the globe, not as an empire reborn, but as a part of an alliance woven together by shared conviction. Freedom of navigation, collective defense, open waters. Every operation here affirms a timeless principle. Control of the seas still shapes the balance of the world. Yet behind the mission lies a greater evolution. The merging of Allied intelligence into one operational heartbeat. Light data now flows seamlessly between Queen Elizabeth, US satellites, and Japanese command systems. Admirals call it the Pacific Web, an invisible lattice of information stretching from the Indian Ocean to the Philippine Sea. For the first time, every Allied ship, jet, and submarine can move, see, and strike as one integrated force. Still, beneath the discipline, a quiet tension lingers. The Pacific today is not the tranquil ocean of yesterday. China's Coast Guard patrols grow bolder. Its artificial islands bristle with launchers and listening posts. Each radar return might be harmless, or a probe. Every shadow on the horizon could be a test, but yet the Queen Elizabeth presses forward, unwavering. Her passage both assertion and promise that deterrents depend on presence. As dusk descends, deck lights flood the flight line in amber glow. F-35Bs are caned and secured, crews working in the rhythmical cadence of experience. The ship's bell tolls across the still water, a hollow, haunting note carried by the wind. Beyond the horizon, unseen observers listen. Yet aboard, purpose remains steady. Preserve equilibrium, maintain peace, and remind the world that stability is earned not through aggression, but readiness. By night, the carrier transforms into a floating citadel of light. Consoles shimmer blue, hangar bays glow crimson, silhouettes drift between stations under the low hum of turbines. From the bridge, the captain gazes east, toward the distant, unseen edge of Asia, where the next century's balance of power is quietly taking shape. Behind him, the Union Jack ripples softly against the night breeze, bathed in the cold glow of the moon. It is no longer a banner of empire, but a quiet emblem of perseverance, a symbol that Britain endures, not through dominance, but through resolve. The HMS Queen Elizabeth does not sail as an echo of the past, but as a bridge to the future, proof that the alliances forged in history's crucible still matter in an age defined by uncertainty. As the carrier cuts through the black expanse of the Pacific, her presence sends a silent proclamation. Britain has returned to the Indo-Pacific, not in defiance, but in duty, standing alongside allies who understand that peace is preserved only by those prepared to defend it. Dawn ignites the horizon over the Philippine Sea, painting the clouds in hues of amber and scarlet. The Queen Elizabeth now glides in perfect formation beside the Sullivans and USS Carl Vinson. From the skies above, they appear like moving fortresses, titans of steel carving elegant paths across an endless blue canvas. Together, they embody something greater than power: unity, purpose, and continuity. On deck, the roar of F-35B Lightning IIs splits the air as they launch in rapid succession. Their engines blaze like twin comets streaking toward the sun. Each ascent is a declaration of readiness, part of a combined exercise with American and Japanese squadrons under the growing doctrine of combined maritime deterrence. It is more than a drill. It is the choreography of preparedness, a rehearsal for a conflict no one wants, yet everyone must be ready to face. Beneath the armored decks, the ship's pulse beats with mechanical precision. Turbines hum with restrained power, radar arrays sleep the skies, and encrypted bursts of communication flash through the ether. Inside the Combat Information Center, officers from Britain, the United States, and Japan stand shoulder to shoulder before an illuminated tactical display. Blue and red markers shift and converge, every blip a potential threat, every maneuver a statement of intent. Here, borders vanish, and three nations operate as one living organism. Such harmony was once impossible. A decade ago, each navy sailed in its own silo, isolated by incompatible systems and guarded information. Today, those barriers are gone. With Link 16 and the Pacific Web Network, Allied forces now share radar tracks, targeting data, and communication in real time. A Japanese F-15 detects a contact, an American destroyer tracks it, and a British F-35 moves to intercept, all in the span of seconds.
Aboard the Queen Elizabeth, calm discipline prevails. On the bridge, the British captain and his American counterpart exchanged measured nods. No dramatics, no words wasted. They understand the stakes instinctively. Around them, the Indo-Pacific shimmers beneath the rising light, a region balanced on a knife's edge, sustained by vigilance and trust. As long as these ships sail together, the fragile equilibrium of peace will endure. Above, the morning sky blazes gold. Allied F-35s climb into formation, their diamond pattern glinting like mirrored blades. Linked through advanced sensor fusion, they move as one, a collective mind, a single vision. From their cockpits, pilots gaze down at the vastness below, an ocean alive with friendly ships and distant watchers. What they see is more than a fleet. It is a statement that unity, not isolation, remains the truest form of strength in the modern world. Every flight, every patrol reaffirms a truth older than war itself. Deterrence lives not in weapons, but in will. The world shifts, borders, politics, technology, yet the alliance endures. And here, on the edge of the Pacific, that spirit burns brighter than ever. The HMS Queen Elizabeth sails onward, her wake glowing faintly beneath the dawn. Ahead lies Guam, fortress of the Pacific, and beyond it, the silent frontier of confrontation. For the crew, fear has no place. Each sunrise brings another test, another unseen standoff,
Another day holding the line between order and chaos. Because in these waters, strength isn't declared. It's proven, wave by wave, flight by flight, by mission. As the Queen Elizabeth neared Guam, the mood aboard shifted. What began as a ceremonial voyage had become something else. A live geopolitical statement watched by satellites from every horizon. US intelligence confirmed what the British analysts already suspected. A Chinese-type 055 Renhai-class cruiser shadowed the fleet at a distance. Larger, faster, and bristling with over 100 vertical launch cells. It was no ordinary observer. This wasn't surveillance, it was strategic theater. Every motion was deliberate. When the British carrier adjusted course by a few degrees, the Chinese cruiser mirrored the turn. When British radar pulsed, Chinese systems answered with their own. A silent exchange of electronic glances across the invisible spectrum. Inside the Combat Information Center, tension lived beneath calm professionalism. Green blips flickered, updating in real time. Contact steady, bearing 155, range 70 miles, a technician reported. The captain nodded. No raised voices, no panic, just discipline, precision in motion. Above, the sky bled amber as dust fell. US Navy P-8 Poseidon aircraft traced broad arcs overhead, their sensors sweeping the horizon. Both sides knew how fragile the balance was. One misstep, one misread signal, and diplomacy could collapse in an instant. The ocean is vast, but between armed warships, the distance between peace and disaster is measured in seconds.
That night, the Chinese cruiser held her course, neither advancing nor retreating. Her silhouette glided along the horizon, ghostly under the moonlight. To sailors on the Queen Elizabeth, it looked less like an adversary and more like a mirror, reflecting shared resolve, restraint, and watchfulness. In the ready room, British and American pilots reviewed flight logs under dim lights. They joked quietly, masking the tension with humor, the oldest defense against unease. "Hard to believe how peaceful it looks out there," one said. "You'd never know how close we are to history." High above, satellites continued their silent watch, tracking two fleets sailing in parallel. Perfect symmetry across a restless sea. The encounter said nothing aloud, yet spoke volumes. Deterrence was alive, and balance endured. The world slept that night, unaware of how narrowly calm had been kept. By dawn, the South China Sea was still again, serene on the surface, yet alive with a quiet hum of power beneath. The ocean shimmered in pale silver, as though the strain of the previous night had been rinsed away, yet every commander knew peace at sea is never permanent, only delayed. HMS Queen Elizabeth pressed eastward, her wake slicing cleanly through contested waters. The Chinese vessel had withdrawn, holding a careful distance, its presence more sensed than seen. Both ships moved now as if bound by an unspoken code, one to demonstrate resolve, the other to monitor. But the encounter sent waves far beyond the horizon. In London, defense strategists dubbed it a modern echo of gunboat diplomacy. In Beijing, state media hailed it as a triumph of vigilance, proclaiming that China had safeguarded its maritime sovereignty. No shots were fired, yet both nations claimed the upper hand. Behind the official statements, however, military planners recognized the underlying truth. The era of open conflict was fading, giving way to a perpetual shadow war of surveillance, signaling, and cyber intrusion. The real clashes now unfolded across unseen frontiers. The airwaves, the data channels, the circuits pulsing beneath every fleet. For those aboard Queen Elizabeth, the unease lingered like faint static. Days later, as the carrier entered the calmer waters near Guam, a wave of relief swept through the decks, tempered by reflection. They had faced the brink of confrontation and held steady. What carried them through wasn't just skill at sea, but discipline, restraint, and a quiet awareness that patience can equal power. The incident drew little notice in global headlines, buried beneath political rhetoric and ceremony. Yet in military circles across the world, it became a reference point, proof that deterrence today depends less on force and more on presence. The South China Sea endures as it always has, a stage for nations to project will and test resolve. Though the guns remain still, the low hum of radar, the soft crackle of encrypted transmissions, and the faint buzz of drones now form the rhythm of modern rivalry. As night returned to the Pacific, the Queen Elizabeth flight deck glowed dimly in red light. Helicopters idled in quiet readiness, and sailors moved like ghosts across the steel expanse. Somewhere beyond the horizon, another Chinese destroyer followed, unseen but listening. The great contest of deterrence continued, silent, ceaseless, and razor sharp. In this theater of patience and pride, every pulse mattered, every pause spoke meaning, and peace hovered just one choice away.